This is 128.
The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Need a show about outdoor living? This is where it's at. With your hosts, Shane Chapman and Way Laurent. Thank you for tuning in. Now let the show begin. Yeah. The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody. I am sorry that on the IG you're not going to hear the music today because Bryce didn't pay the Lula bill.
That's right. That's what it was. I didn't pay the Lula bill.
We have some fancy software that like streams things and lets us like play all of our stuff into the thing to make so that people can hear the things.
See us and the things.
And not working today. We've been trying for like half an hour.
Yeah, half an
Not
hour.
working. So you're getting the
anything.
back lot tour.
The backlot tour.
Unedited raw version.
You get to see what we see. This is a special all access tour.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Make the best of it. What's going on, Bryce? What have you been working on lately? What have you been doing?
Lots of billboards and advertising and signs, and let's get the showroom up and beautiful.
Marketing stuff. Been marketing all of the things.
Yeah.
Sweet.
What about you? We got some big new door news.
Yeah, we blew out the hole in the side of the building yesterday.
It's too bad someone didn't like drive into it with a forklift or something.
We should have. That would have made a hell of a video.
Destroyed the wall.
Just a hell of a video for IG. Blew out our overhead door on the side of the building to put in a glass infill and double doors out to the outside area.
To the
let
outside.
in some natural light.
And man, does it ever look great.
It's fantastic. It's one of the favorite things we did yesterday.
It's the favorite things we did?
Yesterday. Yeah.
Yes. What about today?
Since we moved into this building, that's the favoriteest thing that we've done.
Ever?
Yeah. Aside from moving into the building.
Oh, yeah.
But then putting the ping pong table in here is a pretty solid too.
Oh, that was a great idea.
That was a great call. But so what have I been doing? Well, the last couple of days I've been playing yard guy / sales guy a little bit.
Shane the yard guy.
Not been up here doing my thing on my computer, been doing the things outside. And because we got a couple trucks today. Big lumber truck, big Fibron truck.
Oh, yeah, that Fibron truck was here early.
We had a lot to do today out there,
organizing.
So that's all done. So good.
Now
we're going to do a
podcast.
You have some fun headlines for us today.
I do.
You told me.
I do. I have funny news headlines.
Good.
Okay. I got 16 of them.
Okay.
First one. Murderer says detective ruined his reputation.
Yeah, that would happen. Listen, people thought pretty highly of me, even after I murdered the people until you outed me.
Would you ever sue someone for that, though?
Would I personally?
Well, yeah.
No, if I
you
I kill
someone.
in silence. I'm not like I kill quietly.
I don't get caught.
Yeah, I'm not. It wouldn't be an issue for me. No, I don't. I'm not a sewer.
You don't believe in the let's sue each other for.
It's not that I don't believe that there's a place for it. There clearly is. I'm just not like, if I burn myself in some coffee, I'm not going to sue anybody over it.
Are you speaking of the McDonald's thing?
Yes and no. So it's a poor example because have you actually watched a documentary about that?
No, I haven't.
So after watching the documentary about that, I thought good on her because it was not good. So
very hot.
What everybody knows about that,
because I don't know much
they know
about it.
about it, right? It's like on the surface it seems stupid, right?
It sounds stupid.
Lady goes to McDonald's, gets coffee, spills it on herself and burns herself. And all you want to think is, listen, dumbass, don't spill your coffee on yourself. This is a you problem, not a McDonald's problem. Right? Logically. And that was my position for a long time too. And I had heard other people say like, no, you should look into this. There's a lot more to it than just she spilled the coffee on herself. So do yourself a favor and Google hot coffee burns, whatever you need to find this lady's inner thighs from what that coffee did to her. It is disgusting.
Oh, really?
She almost died from it. The burns were so severe.
What?
And so the company, the McDonald's, had been asked by numerous people through formal attempts to reduce the heat of the coffee because it was so hot it was burning people. And they kept just ignoring. They kept their coffee at something like, what was it, 200 degrees Fahrenheit or something?
Why? Who drinks it that hot?
Nobody, because it literally, if the coffee if at that temperature, if it touches you for more than like a second, it will it'll give you whatever degree burns.
Right.
And so there was plenty of paper trail to say like this had been an issue. McDonald's had been told numerous times that they need to do this. It was in their manual that they were to keep the coffee that hot. It wasn't like somebody
It was written down somewhere.
It was formal, and
wow.
They had like replied and said, no, we're not going to reduce the cost. So there's a whole thing before this ever happened. And then the incident we all know about happened where then there's an elderly lady and her son or something. And she had the coffee between her lap and they were like in the parking lot. I don't think they were driving yet, but she like took the lid off or something. Like somehow it spilled and it burnt her bad through like all 5 layers of her skin. Like she had to get skin grafts.
On her thighs.
On her inner thighs. Like her crotch area was destroyed. And so I watched that and was like, oh yeah,
that's
I know
sue worthy.
And so, and also they weren't suing. They didn't want to sue. They simply asked McDonald's like, can you help with the medical bills? Cause she has to get skin grafts because it's coffee and all this stuff. Yeah. And McDonald's refused. And we're like, no, we're not going to. And so then they felt forced to, cause she incurred, I don't know what it was.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars probably.
Of medical bills.
Yeah.
And through complete negligence. And so then they sued for covering of those expenses. They were in the documentary being interviewed and saying like, we weren't trying to make money off this whatsoever. It's just that this was ruining our lives, these medical bills, because they were so severe. And then they ended up getting awarded, I think, beyond what they were asking for because of the gross negligence that was proven through the court process. They ended up getting awarded more, but they're like, this is not a fight that we wanted either, but like, what were we supposed to do?
Right.
So the story is actually pretty crazy. So,
well, McDonald's.
These guys are saying that my phone's buzzing out. Listen, we told you this is the back.
Sorry, guys.
This is the raw version. Yeah. Okay.
If you want to watch the good version, you'll have to go to YouTube later.
I'm not a sewer. Teds.ca, new shirt. It sounds like we're going to have.
I'm not a sewer.
So, you know, it's funny. So last episode, or a couple of episodes ago, maybe, we were talking about something and we had this conversation about what constitutes milk.
Right.
What is milk?
Almond juice.
Right. And so, and Haney Construction popped in there and said, if it doesn't come from a teat, it ain't milk.
That's right.
And I said, if it ain't from a teat, I'd like it neat or something to that effect. And so
it ain't from a teat, I'll take it neat.
He follows up and says, and then I said, we have to put that on a t-shirt. And he follows up and says, if you're going to do that, I will buy a dozen of them. And apparently the homeowner that he's working at right now, the homeowner's girlfriend, heard that too and was like, yeah, I'll take that. Please get me a shirt.
The Ultimate Deck Podcast.
If it ain't from a teat, I'll take it neat. So now I told him, I said, we'll do it. I'll put this on a t-shirt. So add that to your list of things
How do you spell teat?
T-E-E-T, I hope. In my head, it's actually
T-E-A-T.
That's what it was until I spelled it out loud. And then I changed it.
Eat.
I don't.
Do you eat from a teat?
Well, debatably, because if you're a baby,
you definitely eat from a teat.
You only, like you drink to eat.
Drink to eat from the teat.
Or it's a form of eating.
That's right.
Jesus.
Okay.
128. That's like, this is it, hey?
Yeah.
This is where we.
This is where we are. Bad T-shirt slogans, funny news headlines. Back to the Instagram. It feels like we're going backwards. Is this a Benjamin Button situation?
Yeah, I think it might be. Yeah.
Okay. 15. The 15th funniest headline.
15th funniest?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going through 15 of these?
Yeah.
16? Okay, well, let's get on with it.
Muddy Creek problem. It's too muddy.
Muddy Creek is a name? Is this like
it's
a place?
The name of a place.
Yeah, ha ha. Muddy Creek funny. Is too muddy. Screw those guys.
Safety meeting ends in accident.
That's some irony right there.
Right?
Not our safety meetings here.
They end in ping pong.
They end in ping pong, yeah. Yeah.
Federal agents raid gun shop and find weapons.
Weird.
Oddly.
And the store owner was arrested previously, it said. For something else.
Probably for something else.
Yeah.
Most earthquake damage is caused by shaking.
When these kind of headlines come up, because they're not uncommon, Do you think that the papers do this on purpose? Are they
hope
being
so.
funny? Are they being punny? Or
I
do you think that they like don't realize what they're saying? It's either pure stupidity or lame humor.
I think it's pure stupidity. Well, maybe
Like
not
they don't get
stupidity.
it?
Maybe they're just, they put out a new headline every day.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
Bridge closure date Thursday or October.
It sounds like the city of Regina's plans
Right?
of doing anything.
Thursday is canceled.
I wish.
Police arrest everyone on February 22nd.
That one's funny. As they should.
Breathing oxygen linked to staying alive.
You're kidding.
Mississippi, spelled incorrectly. Literacy program shows improvement.
Mississippi's.
Mississippi.
That's for sure stupidity right there. That's not on purpose.
State population to double by 2040. Babies to blame.
But you see, it could be immigration too. So that's not,
It's the babies. Man accused of killing lawyer receives a new attorney.
Would you take that job?
No.
You want to be the next guy? What happened to the last guy? I murdered him. Oh, sounds good then. Price went up, but I'll still represent you.
Would you? No. Yeah. Miracle cure kills fifth patient. Is it a miracle cure?
Depends on how many it saved.
Cows
5
lose-
out of how many? Maybe it saved 1 million.
5 out of 6.
That's not a miracle.
But
cure.
what if it's for like
the one
a
guy?
horrible disease?
The one guy might be. That's a miracle.
Cows lose their jobs as milk prices drop.
Well, here we go. Back to the teat.
Teat or teat. See? Teat or teat. I'm buying.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things.
Amphibious pitcher makes debut.
Oh, yeah.
And number 1, forecasters call for weather on Monday.
Okay. Fine.
They weren't great.
This is why newspaper industry's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Stupid asses.
We've had a rough day today.
Yeah, it's been a good one. So anyway, today's topic we're going to get into is would you still would? And
What kind of wood?
like speaking of poor
Would.
headlines,
Speaking
would you still would?
Speaking of poor headlines,
That was actually a fairly good transition into this. No secret, prices of wood has gone up over the last 14 months. 12 months.
drastically.
Quite a bit. To the point that the gap between composites, or composites, as our incorrect friends to the south would say,
Composites.
to the point that the gap is like it's almost evaporated. There's still a little bit of a gap there between a good brand of entry level composite and a wood, pressure treated 5/4 or something. So that gap is really, really small now. And so is there any instance where you would still would?
Yes,
Okay.
I would.
And so shit. What have we done? Now we're going to talk a little bit about treated lumber because that's kind of when people are talking about the price of lumber and stuff, they're usually referring to like either whitewood, untreated lumber, or whitewood that's been treated, which then
I've never heard it called white
brown
wood
wood.
before.
yeah, well, brown wood, whitewood, redwood,
Greenwood.
and then cedar is another conversation we'll have, and then finally we'll talk a little bit about hardwoods. I laid this out as if it was a high school presentation.
Those are my woods, hardwoods.
Right? And so Wade is on here. He says his guy Josh decided to wood. So
What kind of wood?
would Josh wood? Would
Josh
Wood. Josh would.
Strap in for 10 minutes of wood.
Who's, yeah. So let's say, for example, in our market right now, and these are in Canadian prices, so divide everything by 17 if you're in the States. But what we're looking at right now is 5/4 deck boards in treated lumber are upwards of like $2 a linear foot. And so that same deck board from the same kind of tree, treated the same kind of way, 12 months ago was 99 cents. It was half the price.
Half the price.
It has doubled. The composites that were, $2.79 and $3 last year are still $2.79 and $3. That sounds like they're going to be going up a little bit, but not nearly as much as wood has.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're talking about, instead of the multiplier being, almost 3 times to go from a treated deck board to a composite, it's less than 50% more. And so it's really not a big gap anymore at all.
No.
And so why would you still wood? Like, so you said yes. Did you have some reasons behind why you would still wood?
I still like the look of wood.
Don't bullshit me. What's the real reason?
I do like the look of wood.
Okay.
I like it when it's oiled, nice and slick, dark. I like that look. Natural look.
Au naturel.
That you can't seem
Except
to
for the
quite get.
completely fake colored treatment that's in it.
Hey. Just because she looks that way doesn't mean she ain't beautiful.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, treated lumber now that it's brown does looks fine. Looks good.
Treated lumber brown looks a lot better than the green screened treated lumber that used to be around.
Gotcha. And so Wade in the chat looks like he was referring to the framing component. He had a customer who was looking at going to Fortress Steel and decided to go wood.
That feels like a different conversation.
Yeah, I don't like. Come on, Wade. We're talking about like the stuff on top today.
Yeah, where it's the outer layer.
And so Vinyl Guys is in here. He says budget is the only reason you would wood.
Budget is the only reason.
But that's what we're talking about. Is that budget isn't real? That was the only. Okay. When it comes to treated lumber, when people say like, I want to do wood because I like wood, I don't believe them.
Why not?
Because if they did it because they liked wood, they'd choose a better wood.
Oh.
And I think I'm going to do the treated because I just like the treated. I think that is a cover for I don't want to spend the money for the composite. But nobody wants to sound cheap. You know what I mean? Like when you go to a restaurant, this is going to be right up your alley. You go to a restaurant and you choose a bottle of wine and you're looking at the wine list. This isn't everybody. There's a lot of people out there that will spend a few minutes going up and down the wine list knowing goddamn well
they're not going to buy a bottle.
They're choosing the cheapest one they saw.
They're not even going to buy a bottle. They're going to buy a glass.
Yeah, they'll buy 4 ounces. But they know as soon as they look at it, it's
That's
like,
right.
If they are going to buy a bottle, I'm going to get the $18 bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, but they'll sit there and they'll hum and haw about it. Be like, what do you think?
Please tell me about your.
I actually really like the whatever.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You're just being cheap, and you don't want to say like, give me your cheapest bottle of wine, please.
I'd like your cheapest deck, please.
Yeah. So I don't believe people when they're saying, I'd like to go with the pressure treated because I prefer wood. They're just don't want to tell you.
So budget is the only reason you think that people are gonna
do pressure treated.
Go with pressure
treated. Yes.
Wood.
I believe that there may be the odd person out there that would choose cedar over composite because they like wood. Because because now cedar is more than composite.
Oh,
at that low end. Right? I don't remember the price off the top of my head, but cedar's over $3 a linear foot on 5/4 by 6. And so now it's actually more money than the composite. So if somebody comes in and says, I'm doing cedar because they won't say I like wood. No. They'll say because I like cedar.
Because
That's how you tell the fakes.
I'm building a sauna.
Yeah. That's how you tell the fake ones.
Yeah.
I would like cedar because I like cedar. I would like the pressure treated because I like, you like what? Wood. What kind of wood do you like? Whatever's in the treated.
What if they came in and were like, I would like pine, please? Then
I might believe them a little bit more. I might believe them they actually like pine.
Definitely take birch or ash.
Yeah. So so budget.
Anyways, budget.
Final Guy says budget's the only reason you would. And I agree. Budget, that's the only reason you buy treated deck is budget. But the budget conversation, like that argument is becoming increasingly weaker because it's not that much more, right? Now we're talking like, oh, your deck's going to be $5,000 if it's composite and it's probably $4,200 if it's treated right now, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a very small jump. But sure, I guess if you're counting pennies, then there's still a very small argument to doing treated for budget reasons. Where it might add up actually though is you may end up saving because if you're going to do treated lumber or treated deck, you're probably okay with the treated lumber being exposed on the side, so you're not going to buy fascia. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's the cost savings right there.
Yep.
If you're doing your composite deck, you're probably going to buy the fascia too.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to do a composite deck, you're not going to do wood railing most likely. Mm-hmm. You're going to do aluminum railing. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do a wood deck, you could still do wood railing. Although many people do aluminum now too, even when it's a treated deck. Because it's just like that's the shitty part to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if you add it all up, it still could be for budget reasons if you're going to do the whole thing in treated versus doing composite, not because of the deck boards themselves, but because of all the add-ons that come alalong with doing composite decking.
Yeah.
So maybe I might still buy that argument.
Maybe.
Now,
so I do like the look of wood though.
I agree too. But
this is back to your cedar,
yeah,
right? Like, if I'm going to come in and buy a wood deck with no budget attached to it, I'm probably not even going to go cedar. But still, right?
right. There's options that do look good. It's just like, but pressure and I'm not saying pressure treated doesn't look good. But I'm just saying that if budget is of no concern and they're choosing and they like wood, they're probably going to go with something above treated.
But you can oil your treated now to look a lot like cedar.
You could.
A lot.
You could also paint your Cavalier to look a lot like a Ferrari, I suppose.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Ferrari red.
Ford Fieros? Isn't that what they called them?
Yeah. So, yeah. Now, then there's the cedar conversation, which, like I said, cedar used to be a little bit less than composite. It was kind of between treated and, an entry-level composite, and now it's above that. So, and in spite of that, we're still selling cedar. So there's obviously some people that are shopping because they like the cedar, and as they should. Cedar is beautiful. If you maintain it, it looks gorgeous. It's a good product to work with still. Then there's a category though, and then of course there's other softwoods out there like redwood. It's not big in our market, but I know like the northwest coast has a lot of redwood decks still happening out there, so that's fine. Hardwoods is another category. If we're going to talk wood, we have to talk about all woods, not just softwoods, right? If we're going to have the conversation about do you want wood, you need to ask, do you want it soft or hard? And
you said it, man. So do you like it soft
I prefer it hard.
You prefer it hard. Smooth or rough?
Oh, that's a good question, though. That's a good question. No, I prefer smooth hardwood.
Smooth hard wood.
Yeah. So hardwoods, when we're getting it now we're not talking about budget at all, because most hardwoods are about, it depends what you're looking at, but they're about the same price as a mid to high range composite. So they're not generally more. They're certainly not less.
Unless you thought about it over their lifetime, because they take way more maintenance.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they should take way more maintenance. Yeah. I mean, if you do something,
have to.
If you want to do something like Ipe or ironwood or whatever you want to call it, that stuff they say will last for 75 years, even if you don't do anything with it. It'll obviously get a gray patina like all wood does under the sun, or like I do under the sun. My son,
gray patina.
Speaking of suns and gray.
Son.
My dad. I'm the dad. I'm the dad in this conversation.
Look at your son.
My son last night, he's 4, said, "Dad, all your beard is turning white." I thought I was getting away with this shit. I think he was noticing.
You should get
I noticed.
Just for men.
I'm going to have to. So he started to know right in here for the people on the Instagram. This chin's been white for a while.
How are people going to tell you and Wade apart?
I don't know. That's the only thing that's
the
left.
only thing.
Yeah. They'll now think we're brothers instead of father and son.
Ugh. That's dangerous.
Yeah. So hardwoods, I really like hardwoods. I believe that they are some of the nicest looking stuff. Like if you've ever built a deck with Ipe or even like a red Blaubatu or any sort of mahogany, or even like engineered hardwoods like the bamboo products that we have, they're gorgeous. I really like them. Some are easier to, like that bamboo product is really easy to install. Ipe is really not. And so you have to have a love for it, or why would you do it? Because it takes 6 times more effort to install an Ipe deck than it does to install composite decking. So if you're going that route, you better make sure you want to go that route. Now, that said, we had a business, or a organization, I'll call it, at our one store that's recently looking to redo their entire outdoor decks at their building, at their organization. And they have Ipe on it. It was all done in Ipe, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
Not properly maintained, so it has grade, it looks dirty, it's cracked and checked a bit because of the humidity drying out, and it was not taken care of. It was not oiled. It should have been. It was not.
Yeah.
And
we're Saskatchewan's pretty hard.
Very dry. Yeah. Right? Very, very dry. And so it should have been maintained. It wasn't. They probably got, I was going to say they probably got suckered into it, but they probably didn't get suckered into it. But obviously they chose it because A, super durable.
Yep.
Because it's a commercial space. lasts forever, so they say, but here they are 4 or 5 years away looking to replace it because it just didn't, it's not what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably were not told about how to maintain that and keep it looking good. Had they
been told
had that,
seems like a good business opportunity if you're going to sell hardwoods.
it is. You can like recurring revenue on selling the oils for it, like the maintenance products. So kind of a shame in a way because it's, and I don't know what they're planning to do with it. Like you're not going to rip that off and throw it in the garbage. Jeez, it's still like, it's still, I haven't seen it, but I assume it's still in good shape once it gets cleaned up.
Right.
So I don't know.
Would?
On my personal deck?
Unlimited budget, would you go wood?
No, I wouldn't.
No? You would still go...
Yep.
You would still go composite or composite.
I would, not wood. I would not wood. I'm not a maintenance guy. I don't want to do things even once, let alone doing them like...
So for you, it's just about the ease of keeping up a nice looking deck.
Yeah, that's a large part of it.
Yeah.
Like my deck in my backyard is composite. And it still looks brand new when I get it washed up, which I need to do right now. But my front porch was built by the home builder and it's just treated wood. And so, and it's fine. It doesn't bother me that it's treated wood, but I wouldn't have chose that myself personally. What I don't like about that is that it does hold dirt. And so on a composite, the dirt and crap sits on top and it washes away easy enough. If it rains, it'll kind of clean that. But the treated lumber does actually kind of like the dirt gets inside of the grains. It's not as easy to clean off.
Hold on to it.
And it fades because of the sun. I have used some Mesmer stain on it. It's time to do it again because it's been a few years and it's really faded out. One of my treads on my step has like it twisted and broke a screw. And so it's sitting up now. I got to find a way to get that clamp back down and do that. So like, there's just more work to it going forward. And I would rather not. I don't worry about my kids getting slivers so much on the front because it's just a smaller area we don't play on. But on the back, I probably would have worried about that maybe a little bit more. That said, I did build my kids' playhouse out of all treated material. So the place where they're going to get slivers, I put it to the full test.
You really went for it there.
Yeah. So, not that I'm completely opposed to it, but given the option and if budget was of no concern, I would do composite again, and I would not do the hardwoods. Yeah. I think the hardwoods are absolutely gorgeous. I don't blame anybody doing for hardwoods. I've done some hardwood decks myself. I hate working with them. But man, like when it's done and you look back, there's nothing more beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I like that composites stay more consistent. They're not affected by humidity. Therefore, they don't expand and contract widthwise. They do lengthwise. You can manage that. I don't like that in this climate, whatever, like Ipe, even if it's kiln dried, still shrinks after install. Like the gapping not being consistent bothers me. I'm very anal retentive.
That's fair.
Wood moves more that way. And so I prefer composite for that reason as well. My dog is elderly.
Holy, you got a lot of reasons why you don't like wood.
My dog is elderly. And he does not any longer make it off the deck. If you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
So my deck is a absolute minefield of piss and shit.
I can see where you're going with this.
So in the back, I don't like it's whatever. It's on the composite deck. I can sometimes if I see that he's done it right away, I'll go out there and throw a cup of water on it and wash it off. I can get the pressure wash out or hose, whatever, and just rinse it off, and then it's all good to go again. On the front deck, though, when he does it, it leaves stains. And I'm like, if I hit it with a pressure washer, I'm sure at some point I'll get that away. But like, clearly, it's time for me to oil it again because his urine soaks in. I didn't think this conversation was going to go this direction, but it's true.
It's true,
right? If you have members of your family that are going to piss on your deck, don't do wood.
That's all it takes.
Prove me wrong.
Okay, if you're a retired guy, though, my dad loves his wood deck. Treated wood, because he gets to tinker around with it every year. If he didn't have that, I don't know what he would be doing.
There's for sure people that enjoy tinkering.
Not tinkling.
And I believe that those people exist. And so I'm going to stop reading those comments because the one I just read there, I was like, holy smokes. there's for sure guys that don't mind the maintenance and actually probably enjoy it. They like getting out in the sun. They like kind of, like you said, tinkering around.
one of those things.
Little handyman guys or whatever. They want to go out and oil the deck. And if there's a deck board that needs replaced, they enjoy the process of doing that. And so if that's you, that's great. I don't mind doing that stuff. I just don't want to have to.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
I'll pick and choose when I want to do my maintenance. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. You just do it when you want.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts, Bryce? Would you, if same question back at you, if budget was of no concern, what are you doing your deck in?
I would go hardwood with a steel frame.
Oh, nice combo. You would get rid of that softwood altogether.
Softwood.
Screw softwood. Vinyl guy says install costs are higher on hardwood as well. Yeah. We mentioned that. It's a bitch. To install.
You got to buy a lot of Viagra.
So you got to love it. Yeah. So you would do hardwood with steel frame. Interesting. Okay.
Doesn't that like get rid of a lot of problems?
Yes. Yep. And like you gave me a little wood thinking about
a hardwood
deck on a black steel frame.
Yeah.
Like if you oiled up some Ipe with that nice reddish hue to it and then it was sitting on a black frame, like that would look sharp as shit actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Well, and for you would lose some of the thermal expansion because I think doesn't the treated really, the frame can cause a lot of thermal expansion or
yes,
right? It can cause that gapping and that movement on your deck. But if you get rid of the treated, why do people still use treated?
That
frames?
is for budget reasons. Well, for frames, 2 reasons. One, they don't know that what else it's supposed to be.
Okay.
What do you frame your deck out of? Pressure treated lumber. That's what you're being sold. That's what there's available. That's if you go to the box store, it's all they have. Because they're terrible people at those places.
They're terrible. They're terrible people.
But that's what's available. That's what people frame decks out of nowadays. You don't see people framing out of Douglas fir anymore, and steel's only now becoming a thing. People are unfamiliar that it's even an option. But I think that narrative is about to change. But that's why they're doing it, because they don't know any other option. And now it's between doing treated framing and steel. Well, there's still a cost multiplier there. It's double. But it's a lot closer than it used to be. But there is still potentially a budget play there as well.
Well,
and familiarity.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, because not like anybody that's a little bit handy knows how to work with wood. They don't know how to work with steel necessarily.
Right.
Especially on the DIY side, right? That would just scare a lot of people away from using it. But yeah, obviously, like soaking wet pressure treated lumber is not the ideal solution to framing a deck.
No.
It's just not. Nobody's going to make that argument.
Right?
No. So Wade just followed up here in the chat with some more details on that job. He said, yes, it's 5 years old. It was never ever oiled. The contractor bought all solid edge decking, cut grooves into it on site, and then I guess maybe must have put it down with clips. So it's in pretty bad shape. But they've decided to not replace it. They've decided to now clean it up and start oiling it and taking care of it. So, hopefully it's in good shape. He just said it wasn't. Hopefully it can be brought back to good shape, because that's a shame to put a product like that down and in 5 years it'd be in such bad shape that you want to replace it. That's not good.
Not good at all.
So, Haney Construction says, good luck with this. Saskatchewan isn't nearly as dry as my humor.
You're right.
He struggled with that one, hey?
Yep.
Saskatchewan?
Saskatchewan.
I'll bet you it is. I'll bet you it's just about as dry as his humor.
Yeah, it's pretty...
He's got a quote here for another t-shirt. Quote, the place my kids play, I made out of a sliver factory. He quotes me. So I don't know if there's much more to say to this. Bryce dropping steel framing again, says Precision.
Yeah,
he
that's
appreciates
right.
that. There's a lot of comments in here right now.
Yeah, people like us for some reason.
Yeah, you gave me hardwood, Bryce. That's another. Like we should just hire Haney to do our t-shirts. He should be the guy who makes all the stuff. So there's certainly some scenarios where you would still would.
Yeah, I think treated does hold its place, because if you were in an area, like if you lived in an area that was like at a certain threshold of house price, you probably wouldn't put a composite deck on it, right?
Yeah, maybe not. Yep.
And it's not going to improve the cost of your house or raise the price of your house when you go to sell it, the value, I guess.
And I'll say that like hardwoods never, their beauty never ages.
It never fades.
But I mean, like,
unless you don't oil it.
Every time a lift or an order of hardwood shows up, it's, damn, look at that stuff. That is so nice every time.
Mm-hmm.
Composite, if it's a new color, it may show up and you might say like, oh, damn, that's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like the character doesn't change. It looks the same now and forever.
Yep.
And everyone that shows up is always the same. There's no like unique characteristics about it.
Mm-hmm.
But every time an order of hardwood shows up, it's like, oh man. And when somebody buys it from us and I'm like, we're helping load them, we're seeing them on their way, I'm always kind of like, I wish I could see what that's going to look like finished.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that way about most of our composites, right? Like it's like, unless they're doing something super unique, like, oh, we're doing these colors together and I've never seen that before, then I'd be curious. But every time hardwood goes out, I'm like, send some pictures. Right. Because I want to see that when it's down and oiled and like,
right.
It looks so good.
So if you were limited by budget, would you choose lighting over composite decking?
So what are you suggesting?
So
lighting and treated lumber versus composite?
Nope. No, you would trip all over your deck and fall in the dark, breaking a hip.
Oh no, I would pick
lighting.
option 3 and I would do composite with the lighting. They're not mutually exclusive here. God, no, I don't think so you got me. Lighting adds so much. Lighting is the wow factor.
Lighting would make your treated deck look amazing.
And I've seen some pretty wicked treated decks. One of our contractors that shops here, Evan, the other day posted, I believe it's his backyard. It's definitely a deck that he built. I don't know if it's his or not, but like, and it's all treated and it's like, but he built this like pergola space and it's got like a little daybed thing in it. And like, It's a pimpin' space. Would I trade that deck in treated for my deck that's composite and not as like cozy feel? Yeah, maybe I would do that.
I think wood, even treated, has this like warm.
You're right.
Used to be alive feel.
Yep.
Whereas composite can be like I rolled up a bunch of plastic bags and put them on my deck.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one way to look at it. It's Earth Day. It's Earth Day.
It's
though.
Earth Day. That's okay. Okay. Yeah, you're right. It's Earth Day.
It's Earth Day. So don't slag the recycled content today of all days.
We should have recycled a podcast for Earth Day.
This is episode 128, or also affectionately known as 47. We took that out and did it again.
Exactly.
Didn't want to use electricity. So there it is. I think that's the conversation, right? I don't know that we left much out of it. Cedar too, I absolutely love when you first install it. Cedar is so soft. That's my main concern with cedar. If you're going to take care of it, great. Like if you're just doing the decking, that's fine. It's easy to oil the decking.
Yeah.
You get a Deck Boss brush, a nice big brush that makes quick work of anything.
I wish these people would pay for that name drop.
Right? But I mean, something like that is fine. If you start getting into doing pergolas and like intricate railings and stuff, like that's when the maintenance becomes a bit of a pain. But on just a deck floor, it's not that bad to do. So cedar does look beautiful. It is very soft. So your maintenance not only includes oiling it every year or every other year, it's also at some point probably going to involve sanding it down, trying to get some damage out of it if it's cedar because it's so soft. Hardwoods, like you might have to sand some scratches at them too, but they're durable.
The one thing that we didn't talk about cedar is that I feel like there's another dimension to a cedar deck that no one really talks about, and it's the smell.
2x6? Oh. Yeah. So yeah, the smell is
the smell of a cedar deck is
an install
very
thing.
inviting.
Yes, and have you ever smelled? You've probably never smelled hardwood. Like most
I've
hardwood,
never smelled hardwood.
Like cutting ipe, it stinks like dog shit.
Because it's iron. Like it's like just
I don't know. It stinks. I don't like the smell of it at all. And I'm gonna screw this word up. It's carcinogenic.
Oh yeah. It's like smoking.
You're not supposed to breathe the dust in. It can give you cancer. So fun, right?
It's a cancer deck.
Yeah.
Treated.
Cedar, to my knowledge, doesn't give you cancer. So that's good. Environmentally too, like hardwoods, there's a lot of, since it's Earth Day, a lot of controversy around hardwoods because a lot of them are mined out of mind.
Tree mining.
Tree mining is the next biggest thing. A lot of them are harvested, cut down out of rainforests. and protected areas. And there's like, it's a bit of a blood diamond.
Well, they're so hard because they take forever to grow.
Right. Because we left them alone.
We left them alone
for a lot of years.
Exactly.
And now we're like, look at this amazing, majestic forest. Turn it into a deck. So
get out your track saws.
So there is a little bit of controversy around the hardwoods because of that. Now, I'm not saying that all of them are done that way, but there's certainly a concern that some of them are done that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you're doing that deck, you might want to source something that is, certified in some way to not have been harvested out of irresponsibly. But
bamboo is fast growing.
That's why I love that bamboo product. Because it gives you the experience of hardwood. It looks and feels like wood. It's engineered, so it is real bamboo. However, there's also what do they call it? Some paraphenol something or whatever resin.
Okay.
Bowling ball resin is what we know it as. That's injected into it and compressed into like this ridiculously strong, hard, durable plank.
Right.
And so extremely thermally stable to both hot and cold. That's what thermal means.
Thermal.
And humidity doesn't really affect it too. It can crack. It can dry out and crack. It does act like wood.
Right.
Even though it is engineered. The install is super simple with it because it's pre-grooved and you just put it in with clips and it comes 6-inch planks and it's end matched with a tongue and groove on the ends too. You don't have to land on a joist. Like installing, it's a breeze. It's very nice to work with that way. And you can sleep at night knowing that it's hard. It's bamboo.
So you probably have to if you're in a highly panda infested area, I would probably stay away from bamboo.
Yeah, obviously.
What if they start eating your deck? Anyways.
Yeah. And so because bamboo is harvested within, I think most of the products they use, it's like 6 years, right? They achieve full growth after 2 years or something like that. Like a seedling of bamboo or a shoot of bamboo can grow to a frickin' 40-foot stalk within 2 years.
Yeah, they grow fast.
And then they harvest it a couple years later and then good to go. So very environmentally friendly, very renewable. So good news story there. Mm-hmm. Unlike Ipe, for example, that's, doesn't grow in 2 years and isn't always necessarily renewable and easy to get without controversy. Yeah. So there you have it. Would? Maybe.
Sometimes.
Here and there.
I don't have one now.
The odd time.
Every once in a while.
If it tickles your fancy.
That's right. Wood.
You're wood, right? Your deck's wood.
My deck is wood.
Pressure treated wood?
Pressure treated.
Yeah. And how old is it?
6 years now.
Have you been maintaining it?
No.
How is it now? Still look okay?
Still looks pretty good. I oiled it once.
Okay.
3 years ago.
Okay. Super deck.
That's and it worked really well.
Okay.
With aluminum railing.
Yeah. So that's
black aluminum railing.
Yeah, that's smart. I think that's smart. So I guess the moral of the story is if you do decide to go with wood, please maintain it for my own sanity and yours.
Mm-hmm.
Please maintain it. If you're going to go wood because you like wood or for budget or whatever, just don't not maintain it.
Yeah.
Oil it. Just keep it looking good.
Oil it. Nice and slick.
Or else it's going to cost you more down the road. So, anything else to add? What about these people in the comments here? Do you guys have anything else to add? If not, good. See you later.
Peace.
But no, I wasn't actually going to end it there.
I know. Smell my deck, bro.
Oh, the conversation about cedar smelling good. Yeah, so it does smell really good. Everybody loves it. It's like a very cliche thing to say, like, oh, look, it smells so good. Everybody loves the smell of cedar. That's not a lasting benefit, though, I would say. Sometimes after rain, you can smell it again a little bit. But I would say once the oils of the cedar kind of dry out, you no longer get the benefit of smelling the cedar. Sure, it smells good while you're installing it, but it's like nobody walks in here and is like, what's the nicest smelling during install? Like, tell me your top 3 things you're looking for. Is it price? Is it color? Is it durability? Smell of install.
Oh, man.
Okay. Smell. I want to make sure it smells really nice while I'm installing it. So that's a very temporary benefit. I don't think anybody would do it for that reason.
I mean, we should start selling that cedar smell that you just put on your deck.
Sell that cedar smell.
Sell it.
That sounds like a jingle we should have. Sell that cedar smell. That's it. We beat the shit out of this topic.
Yeah. A lot longer
45
than
minutes.
I thought we were going to get.
I told you this was going to be a 12-minute episode.
You were like, let's get this in and out.
We need to do some headlines or something to waste some time because it's going to be a quick episode. So, that's it for today, folks. The NADRA Awards are tonight. I know that when this gets posted, it's going to be after that, so you can go look up the winners. But for the folks that are in the Instagram Live, you can tune in tonight. Don't quote me on this. Please look it up because I don't want no nasty emails me like, you son of a bitch, you told me it was at this time and I missed it. I get those daily.
I missed the NADRA Awards because of you again, Shane.
Yeah, now I gotta wait till next year. I spit everywhere. That was just like a COVID spray right there. The awards are tonight, I think 8 Eastern. Don't quote me, look it up. And so if you're interested in following along, they are happening in person. I think is it in Florida?
I thought it was.
I want to say it's in Florida, but I could be wrong in that. So they are doing in-person awards, but they are also streaming this online somewhere, somehow. So if you are interested in following along with that, do it. You might even see Wade's face in my face during it at some point. Can't say for sure, except that I can.
I'll figure it out. Hang on.
Oh, I was going to sign off on this.
Well, you were all like, where are they?
You can make me talk wood longer? We'll get you the details. I mean, there's only 6 people in the chat at this point. They've all left, so it doesn't really matter. So tune into that. We'll do another episode probably about the winners of that, I would think, at some point. So, as always, keep listening and stuff. Subscribe.
Hit that notification button.
Got to make this happen, guys. Take it easy. We'll see everybody next week when we have better internet and less troubles. Woo! Peace.
Hey, thank you for listening to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Now you know what we're about. Check the site, come and shop. UltimateDeckShop.com. Hit us right away for sponsorships, or tell us if you want to collaborate. Let's go. Check us out on any social networks. Thank you for listening.